we'll start with this before we go over to Rumble. Let's just get to the Trump saga. It's gossipy. It's not so much law related, but Jesus, it's the media has more interest in Nick Fuentes being Kanye's uninvited guest to a Trump dinner. They're more interested in that than they are in Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX scandal, through which they saw hundreds of millions of dollars laundered to Democrat entities. So they're focused on that. But Robert, what in the name of high school football happened? Trump allegedly, from his own social media posts, says Kanye came to me and says, we want to talk, need some advice, yada, yada. Come over for dinner. Kanye comes with Nick Fuentes, allegedly uninvited. Trump, after the fact, apparently they had a dinner. They might have been asked to leave. Maybe you'll be able to shed some light on that. After the dinner, Trump says, I had no idea who Nick Fuentes was. Kanye brings him unannounced. We have dinner. They leave. That's the end of it. But when you host Nick Fuentes, I mean, it's so outrageous, the attention and the glamour that the media is giving Nick Fuentes now. But when you have Nick Fuentes come, who said the things he said, you had your encounter, you're running with Nick, it's going to make Trump look bad. People are hypothesizing as to is it a sabotage? Is Owen Benjamin involved somehow? I don't understand how that can be the case, except for apparently he's friends with Kanye. How can Trump allow something like this to happen? Shouldn't he have a team vetting people that come over to his place, even if they come unannounced? Robert, if you know anything that's not public, or if you can add some insight, I think people would like to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Scott Adams speculated that it was part of a Trump takeout effort. I don't think Kanye was wittingly or knowingly participant. It looks to me like Kanye is being targeted by grifters and hustlers like Milo Yiannopoulos and Nick Fuentes and others, some ex-Trump campaign people. There's rumors of Roger Stone involvement as well. I can't confirm that on the latter part. But these are the grifters and hustlers looking for quick cash. And Kanye's got a lot of money, and they're making pitches about who they know and how they can generate publicity for him and how they're going to help because Kanye's his presidential aspirations for 2024. Apparently, they went in with a kind of lame, like their marketing post-meeting marketing was that, their whole idea was that he was going to go in and demand that Trump be his vice presidential candidate.
Yeah, that's
a joke. I mean, all that does is insult Trump. So, I mean, what Kanye did is burn his bridge to Trump. That's what he did with the way he handled the meeting and who he brought. Now, you have Nick Fuentes, who has been telling everybody he's on a no-fly list. And then he's walking through the airport with Kanye. Was Fuentes lying once again? This is a guy who likes to chase around little boys in outfits and little furry outfits and things of this nature. He's mostly a race grifter. I don't think he has a sincere belief in his body. He later gave a big thing about how he's a big supporter of DeSantis. That's ironic because, of course, he claims that he has a very principled position in opposing aid to Israel. DeSantis is one of the biggest Israel backers and was while he's in Congress and continued to be while he was governor. So that tells you how sincere that position was. It was just looking for Jew haters. If you're Kanye, hanging out with more Jew haters is not a great way to convince people that you're not really a Jew hater, that, hey, you just have some unusual beliefs. I still don't think he has malevolence in that respect, but he keeps, if next up is the head of the neo-Nazi party in America and he's doing a front profile for the Daily Stormer, then I'm going to have to say, sorry, Kanye, you clearly lost the res. You're off the res. But there's people who are going to hustle and grift him, looking for cash or notoriety through his quixotic campaign for the presidency. It's clear, what Trump put is that, hey, Kanye's clearly not all there. I was trying to help a guy that's not all there. And he's still not all there, so I got the hell out of there. I mean, that was basically what Trump said. Didn't know who anybody else was, which is classic. But it does show both the weakness and strength of Trump's current campaign team is he's gone back to a 2016 style. And the upside of that was he didn't have a bunch of hangers-on spinning nonsense in his ear, and he acted on instinct a lot. Downside was open access, and people could misuse and abuse their access. Most likely, this was orchestrated by Milo Yiannopoulos. People liked his appearance on with Tim Pool. In my experience, he's not someone who's trustworthy. He screams grifter 10 miles away. He's always been a grifter. There's, of course, many allegations and concerns about how he behaved for a long period of time. I met him when Steve Bannon was busy promoting him back in the 2016 convention. And I was like, I want nothing to do with this guy. This guy screams grifter and hustler. He's tried to get death threats put out on people and things of this nature. He's recently converted. He's no longer gay. If you buy that, I got a couple of bridges in Brooklyn to sell you. So this is that world, that sort of grifter underworld that Fuentes and Milo and that crowd and that Owen Benjamin tends to attach himself to, even if he's not officially a part of, tend to obsess over hating on Jews. And are not productive people, went after Dave Rubin, have gone after other people in very nasty personal ways. So they're not people I have any respect for at all. And it's just, but I think having been, Kanye should know better given how many grifters he's had around him his whole life from the time he's been successful. But his entrance into politics has unfortunately not disabused him of that. And he's associating himself with some of the worst, most malevolent grifters in American politics today. I mean, Nick Fuentes is a wannabe young David Duke. That's who he is. And so the embarrassing for Trump. But I think if the downside comes with the upside of him not having, certain people in his ear all the time telling him to, follow the Faucis of the world, that'll probably be net plus over time for Trump. It won't have much impact at all. It was a nice little media story for the media to promote. Clearly part of a coordinated effort. It makes Kanye look like he's a tool rather than being someone who's his own man at this point. The very lame, post debrief it was very much, I get Kanye lives in his own world. That's rather apparent, been rather apparent for a long time. But he's now looking like it in ways that is not productive for Kanye's public aspirations to be taken seriously in the court of public opinion. To the degree that is an aspiration. I mean, maybe it's just to express himself regardless of how people interpret it. But, when you're playing around with these losers and grifters and hustlers, you're not helping your cause at all, I'll put it that way. And he burned a bridge that he otherwise had a nice bridge there to Trump to such a degree that Trump would just, hey, yeah, come on over for dinner. That ain't happening anymore. And chances are Trump's cut off the phone contact too. So a mistake on Kanye's part, ultimately. Minor mistake on Trump's people, but not a big one. If Roger Stone was involved in this, he burnt a bridge too. And I'd be surprised if he was. But Stone has affiliated with Milo and other people, so that's where the speculation has come from.
Would Roger Stone is out for a vendetta because Trump put him through the ringer by not protecting him in the criminal charges, or what would Roger Stone have an interest in sinking Trump?
It wouldn't be an interest in sinking Trump. It'd be an interest in getting Kanye to write checks.
Okay.
I mean, that's the modus operandi of certain people. I don't think Roger would be dumb enough to burn that bridge over something small like that. And some of these people may, be hoping Kanye writes checks. If you know Kanye, you might want to wait until the check clears.
Okay, so that's one angle to it. The Milo angle, I don't know. I know what I know of Milo just from the internet. It's times like this when I'm glad I don't have very many friends. If the fewer friends you have, the less likely you are to get in this type of trouble. I saw what Laura Southern put out the documentary on Milo, and
I mean, she detailed Milo's MO for a long time was extortion, entrapment. That's who he was looking to blackmail people on the regular. This goes way back with him. He was always allegations of fraud in terms of his scholarship program and book writing deals and other things. So the guy's bad news. He's always been bad news. He's a very smart person. He's very articulate. I don't doubt either one of those two things. I don't think he's got any moral character in his bone in his body. And that's why I don't trust him and have discouraged people from associating with him or being around him. To the extent he finagled his relationship with Roger Stone to get to greenlight this meeting with Trump, he burned a lot of bridges by doing this. So he better get a big check. But he was the one behind circulating. My guess is he was the one behind circulating the story to the Gateway Pundit and circulating it to the Axios and places like that. That's just that has his fingerprints tattooed on it.
Cernovich has been on a bit of a tear, an anti-Trump tear. And I say not anti-Trump in an illogical, irrational sense. Cernovich is raising, I think, very legitimate points that some people don't like him raising at this point in time. But one of which is, Robert, and you have to feel this, okay, like, does Trump not have a team? I'm going to get to the double standard after this, but does Trump not have a team to vet? Or is this a case where somebody shows up and you don't know they're bringing the person in the first place? What are you going to do when they get there? Sorry, you can't come in when you're with a guest. I mean, I could see politeness even being a factor that is going to hurt someone here, but you can't vet someone that you didn't know is coming. They get there. What's supposed to happen, and why didn't it happen?
That's a Kanye thing. That's a celebrity thing. So it is extremely common that celebrities have an entourage. So if you're someone like Trump and you've met with those kind of people all your life, you're not surprised at the entourage. You don't know the entourage has any meaning until later, but you're not surprised. Okay, these guys always got 3-4 hangers on. That just runs for the territory. So so I'm sure what happens is Kanye showed up, said, "Hey, I got a couple of buddies with me. Is that cool?" Trump would be, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So now the only thing is, but he's one of the few people who could pull that off. That's why it feels like a setup in which Kanye was being used. It didn't help or boost Kanye much, unless his goal is to get the support of the Jew haters, the Jew hater United Party or something. Maybe that's going to be the new Kanye political party. Unless that's it, it was a net negative for him. But only a celebrity could pull that off. So is the short answer. And now the other aspect is it shows that Trump is not being super controlled. I think that's a good thing. So it will come with these kind of loose affiliations and associations and meetings with people who Trump won't know that the media will make hay out of. But the upside is it will also come with meeting people he should meet that the insiders would typically keep out. So I think it's a net positive for Trump to stay open. Do 2016, don't do 2020.
Or it's just damned one way and damned the other. The insiders are going to let the bad people in to take him down, but not the good people that he should meet with. Right. I had another the double standard, Robert. Obama, it wasn't Louis Farrakhan. Who was it? The pastor, the chickens are coming home to roost.
That was his pastor.
Yeah. So the double standard is, it's not just egregious because one is sort of an accidental dinner with someone you didn't invite who was brought as a guest. And the other one is, I like your newsletter. I'd like to subscribe to it by joining your sermons. Am I being unfair to Obama, or was it known? Was he just innocent, caught up at a sermon of somebody who he didn't know what he was going to say, or is there just a double standard and more so than I can possibly?
Oh, I mean, much more double standard. That pastor was infamous for his very anti-American speeches, inflammatory speeches. Obama joined that church deliberately because that pastor had a lot of political currency in the South Side of Chicago. And so he wanted the benefit of being affiliated with him without the burden because of a lot of those pastors' statements. And the media did a great job covering for Obama, as they did throughout. So no surprise there. But, I mean, the fact that Nick Fuente is sitting next to Trump, that doesn't matter. I mean, the media will spin it how they're going to spin it, but that just has no lasting meaning, lasting virtue or value or currency. It's a one-day story. And it mostly nets out to nothing in the end. And we'll see whether Kanye continues to affiliate with these kind of people. Does he continue to self-marginalize himself in the way he's going about things? Does he? I mean, the Owen Benjamin route, that ain't a route to success. Just saying. God bless Owen, but there's a reason he's living out on the farm or wherever. So I don't think that was a path to progress. So the same with where Kanye's going, he's putting himself into a smaller and smaller cubicle. I mean, it was already a small one. People forget Kanye ran in 2020. He just didn't get on a lot of ballots. So I mean, the temptation for the political hustlers to get near Kanye to get money out of him is huge. So it brings out all the grifters. Anybody associated with Kanye, that it suddenly, right? Not like Candace Owens clearly wanted to bring Kanye into the conservative camp. That's a whole different animal, and she doesn't need the money. She's doing just fine. But but these other people, it shows who they really are. Anybody that signs up now with the Kanye campaign is someone who's a pure grifter. You can just put them in the grifter box. Not a hustler, not someone who's in between. Pure grifter. Anybody who signs up with Kanye now. So, and then you see some of these people on social media claiming that anyone who's backing Trump is probably getting paid for it. like that muscle boy, Dave Reboy, or whatever his name is. I always am skeptical. I mean, this guy hangs out with Jack Murphy, right? And I was like, hold on a second. The guy who got paid for sticking things up his rear end is talking about other people being a grifter. I don't know about that, Jackie boy. Maybe hush would have been a little bit better approach there, son. But the similar with him and Marina Medven and some of these other people, the idea that you'd make more money associating with Trump at this point than anti-Trump has just never made much sense to me. The grift has always been against Trump. There is no grift with Trump with any consistency. That isn't to say there aren't people who try to jump on the Trump bandwagon conveniently lately at the very end. But the idea that being for Trump is going to be your clear path to easy money and profitability and is just anybody who accuses Trump supporters of being a grifter is confession through projection, is a grifter. You can put it right on it because that screams confession through projection. Because it's like the people who kept insisting Trump was running for office to get rich. Like, it's a good way for Trump to get poor and go broke is to run for president on the ticket on the platform he's running on. And that has been proven in abundance. First president to lose money by being president in American history. I mean, literally American history. Nobody's lost money being president. Maybe you could argue John Kennedy, but most likely no, because he was very wealthy coming in. But Trump, otherwise, only one to lose money by being president. There is no grift for Trump running for president. There's no grift for people that support Trump against a lot of this nonsense. So but you're going to see all the grifters start pouring out now. Either they'll be jumping on the Kanye campaign or they'll love to bash on Trump. Some people's grievances are personal. Ann Coulter has a personal grievance over Sessions and some other people. Mike Cernovich has a personal grievance, and I understand and respect their personal grievance. Trump was not loyal to some people that I frankly should have been, or Trump made mistakes that he blamed other people for. So I understand those folks. But some of these other, like some people suddenly suggesting DeSantis is some sort of anti-deep state guy and Trump's the deep state guy. When you're saying loony stuff like that, you might be a little off the res. So but definitely the Kanye people are anyone attaching themselves to Kanye at this point, pure grifter.